This is Melanesian Women Today, and in this video we're going to talk about all of the things that are included when you're creating a business plan. A business plan is going to have 6 parts to it, and the very first part is called your market analysis. So typically what you should do is you should get out some pen and paper or a computer and type this up, and you can have just 6 paragraphs that include all of these different parts. And so the first thing you want to do is what's called a market analysis. And this doesn't have to be too involved, but basically what you want to do is you want to look at your marketplace and you want to analyze a couple things. You want to for sure have a really good idea about who your competition is. This part is extremely important. And you want to be pretty detailed about what products they offer and what would be in direct competition with you. Your market could be your local area, like your local city, your local village, your island, or if it's a big enough product, it could be a whole region, like all of Melanesia. Which case you need to know your competition in other countries as well. And then go ahead and make sure that you cover things maybe even like substitutes for your products, like other things that people would buy in place of your product or service, I should say. Or also you might want to include things that are called complements, which go with your product, and how that affects your sale. But at a minimum, this is what you want to focus on. What is your competition, and get detailed information about them. Part number 2 is called the company description, and in this part of the business plan, basically what you want to do is you want to cover these 3 things. You want to talk about who is involved in the business. You want to talk and what their qualifications are, education, things like that. You want to make sure that you completely and entirely explain what your business does. That means that you can put into writing what your products or services are that you're going to offer for sale. And then the last thing is your timeline. When do you want to start? How long do you want your business to last? Maybe forever, maybe, or a few years. It's up to you. But those are the 3 things that you want to make sure that you definitely cover. We'll go on to part 3. In the 3rd section, which is called organization and management, what you want to do is you want to focus specifically on who does what. And the key to this section is all about people's roles. So if you are in business by yourself, then it's pretty easy and you can say this is who I am and what I am doing. But if you employ other people, it is extremely important before you start any business that you talk about what the roles are for all the people involved. If everybody walks in the door and thinks they're the boss, that's probably not going to be okay. But you want to make sure that everybody knows, whoever the boss is, that everybody knows what that boss's powers are. Maybe you have a manager. What can that manager do? Can the manager hire, fire? What can the manager do by himself or herself as opposed to doing with you as the owner of the business? And then, any workers that you have. You want to make sure that your workers, that everything is clear to them. You want to make sure that there is no mystery about how things work in terms of employer and employee. Part number 4 is all about marketing and sales. So in this section of your business plan, you want to make sure that you detail how you will sell your product, how to sell. And when you answer that, are you going to be walking up and down the street? Are you going to be taking phone calls? Are you going to be, going door to door, talking to people? Maybe your customers are international. How are you going to sell to them? Maybe you're going to use the internet. Maybe you're going to have a website. All of those things are explanations for how you will sell your product. And then the second part of this is all about marketing. So how will you market your product? Meaning, how will people find out about your business? Because if nobody knows about your business or your product or your services, then that means nobody's going to buy your product, and you need people to buy for a business to be successful. So when you think about this, there's a lot of things you can think of. A lot of people think of advertising first, right away. Advertising on the radio, advertising on the cars, advertising on billboards, advertising on the radio, newspaper, all of those things. But there's a lot more. There's on the internet. So that includes things like maybe a blog or maybe social sites like Facebook and Twitter. You could also have incentives for word of mouth. How do you get people to talk about your business? So they tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends, and so on and so forth. Part 5, you want to talk all about what service are you going to sell, or what product are you going to sell. And so what you want to do here is you want to make sure that you are totally detailed when you are describing it. So it's okay, you can update this in the future, but you want to make sure that you detail things. This means that you talk about anything that gives you an advantage, anything that makes people say, wow, I really like that product. Those are the things that you want to include in there. You want to include other things, all the details about whatever the product is, the sizes, the shapes, the colors, all of those things. And lastly, part 6, you want to make some financial projections. So if you just do very little in this area, what you want to do is you want to make some projections for sales. So there's 2 things that happen here when you do that. Number 1, what you're basically doing is you're setting a goal. And then if you have a goal, that means you can try to reach your goal. You can be motivated to reach your goal. And then the second thing is that if you have these financial projections, that means that you can do some planning for the future as well, which will help your business a lot. So those are the 6 steps to creating a business plan. I am going to post some notes underneath this video, and then I'm also going to urge you to go on over to Facebook or Twitter, where you can discuss more about business plans as well.